everybody, this is Denise again with Wonder Bar Crafts. It's been a little bit since I did my first YouTube video, and in that video I told you guys that I would show you guys how to make homemade notepads. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to split this video into two. First part will show you how to make the actual notepad, so if you just want to make the pad, that's okay. You can just watch part one and not have to watch part two. And part two is going to show you how to make this cute little cover, which you can expand upon and craft and do your own little thing with. So anyway, you're going to need some materials, so let's go ahead and get started with the list of materials you're going to need. So you're going to need something, obviously, to cut your paper. So you need a good sharp paper cutter. I like this one for little small pieces of paper. I also have a big one with the arm. But it's kind of lunky, so I didn't want to have to set it all up and then have to turn off the camera to move everything again. So get yourself a paper cutter, or if you don't have one, no need to go run out and buy one. Sorry, my little Uber-Duber is barking down there. I don't know what he's barking at. Probably another bag in the lawn or something. Just use a ruler to measure out your paper and some scissors. If you don't have any scissors, that's okay. You could tear the paper and tear it really good, which I'm going to show you guys how to do that, how it kind of looks with that versus cutting it. You're going to need a pencil with a good eraser. You can use pen or a marker, but I prefer to use a pencil in case I make a little mistake on my little markings. I can erase it, which I do a lot of. You're going to need some paper clips or binder clips. I like using the small ones. They're perfect because they will hold about 50 sheets of paper in it. You're probably hearing the big B2 fly over right now. Please bear with me. You're going to need about anywhere from 5 to about 12 and a half, well 13 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm going to do mine tea stain, so if you're going to use tea stain, go ahead and tea stain it, and then, or you can cut it and then tea stain it if you prefer, however you prefer to do it. But you're going to need about anywhere from 5 to 12 and a half sheets to give you anywhere from 20 to 50 sheets of paper for your pad. And then you're going to need a piece of cardstock. It can be printed cardstock if you prefer, plain cardstock, just a heavier piece, at least 65 pound or larger, and cut it. For this project, I'm going to do a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch notepad. So cut according to the size sheet that you want to do. And then you're going to need some really good adhesive glue. I love, love, love Fabri-Tac. I use it for all kinds of stuff. I've used it to even put metal embellishments onto fabric, and it's managed to hold it. It's really thick. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, Uber-Duber is barking again. Hold on a second, let me go figure out what he's barking at. Okay, sorry about that. He was barking at somebody walking around the neighborhood with their dog, so I guess he felt he was being threatened or something, I don't know. Anyway, back to the glue. I like the Fabri-Tac. When it starts to dry, it gets kind of stringy, and and then as it sets up, it kind of gets like almost like a rubbery cement. Not really cement, I guess. More like a rubber. And it's great for those kind of projects, especially for making notepads, because, you know, if you ever pulled out a notepad you got from the store, or those little freebies you get in the mail, it has like a little thin strip of glue on the top, and it's, you know, when you tear it off, it's kind of like a little rubbery strip. So that's essentially how this dries. Also, the Beacon 3-in-1 does the same thing. Really, I don't know if there's too much difference. I went online to go see what's the difference between the two, and I really can't find a difference in that. Maybe some of the ingredients are a little different. I don't know. However, I have tried using this Arlene's Original Clear Gel Tacky Glue, and it's great for other things, but not to do these notepads. Even though it says it's a gel, it comes out like a gel, but it does not dry the same. It dries almost like Elmer's glue, and it will literally stick your pages together so tight that you'll tear the page. Don't use this kind of tacky glue. If you can find it, get it either at Walmart. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, it was a little expensive, but it's well worth the money for this type of glue. It's just awesome. It's really awesome. Okay, so then you're also going to need some wax paper. I use the Reynolds Cut-Rite wax paper. You can use a cheaper brand if you want. Just make sure that it is wax paper. Do not use parchment paper. I tried it with parchment paper and all my pages stuck to the parchment paper, and the glue literally sticks to the parchment and it won't peel up from it, and you'll see why as we go through the video, why it's important to use the wax paper. You need some tape to tape down the wax paper. I use masking tape because I've used it before with the clear little like invisible tape or whatever, and it sticks to my work surface really bad. All right, that's enough. And so I think he thinks I'm really talking to someone. And I just got this brand new mat, and the other one was so grungy looking with all kinds of stuff all over it. I don't want to use it anymore. So I went and got a new mat, but it stuck. You can see kind of here, and the tape stuck to it. And I'm so upset. It's a brand new mat. I didn't even have it 24 hours. Anyway, so use some masking tape. It's easier to peel up, and it doesn't seem to leave a sticky residue on your workstation. Alright, yep, we've got everything. So I'm going to turn off the camera and give you a second to go and get all your stuff together, and then let's craft. Okay, you're back, and hopefully you got everything ready to go, and we can get started on making some notepads. So first of all, what we need to do is cut our paper. I've already folded out some paper. I'm going to cut mine with a paper cutter, and I also have another piece that'll show you if you don't want to use scissors or you don't have any scissors yet. So I have, like I said, I already marked my paper, and then I just line it up to where I want to cut. And by folding it that way, it kind of puts a line in there without actually having to either draw a line or print one on there, and then you accidentally, because I've done that before. So, but if you can cut if you're really good at cutting paper like that, then awesome. So anyway, there's 4 sheets cut from one single. So like I said, if you use 5 sheets, full sheets of 8.5 by 11, you'll have 20 sheets for your pad. And if you do, obviously 13, because you're not going to get a half a sheet of paper, but if you cut 13 sheets down and take 2 of those out, you'll have 50 sheets. So, alright, so if you want to tear and give a more rugged edge, just fold it the same way, finger press it, and then I always try to tear the shortest distance, because it's hard when you do it the long way, and it seems to, I make a lot more mistakes. Tear it off everywhere else. Have half a sheet here. But see how it kind of gives a more rugged edge, especially with like the tea stain paper. So it can give you an older, if that's the look you're going for. If you don't want to tea stain your paper, that's okay too. If you want it nice, white, and pristine, you can do that. Whatever you want to do. And I've already cut out 50 sheets for this pad. And this one I'm doing for my mom. It's tea stained. And I did print some little Scottish ephemera. I think I'm saying that right. Ephemera. Onto the pads. Because she is always using little scraps of paper everywhere, and she's like, give me a piece of paper. So now she has a pad to write everything down on. Alright, so now, once you get your 50 pieces or 20 or however many you want to do, it's all up to you, it's your pad of paper. go ahead and stack them together. Grab that piece of cardstock I had you cut out and put it to the back. And just tack them down. I always try to stack the bottom to make that portion as even as possible, because the top portion is where your glue is going to go. So get them stacked, and this is where our binder clips are going to come into play. So, and my OCD is going to kick in here in a second. Alright. And just go ahead and clip down your bottom, because that's your one even edge. Because the top part's all going to get glued. But you want your bottom because that's where everybody's going to see it. So, and then just do that all the way around. Okay, so now you should have everything all binder clip down. Just leave it like this for, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Go grab yourself a cup of coffee, a glass of wine if you're watching the video at night, or during the day if that's your thing. So go ahead and let them sit for 5-10 minutes. Go get yourself a cup of coffee and come on back. Okay, so you should have let your pad sit for 5-10 minutes or maybe even overnight. And we are ready to move on to the next step, which is gluing the pad together. So grab yourself a piece of wax paper, anywhere from like 5 to 8 inches in length is good. Let's see, let's get this taped in a section that you can see it. And also I am going to try and video part of this using my iPhone so you can get a separate view, so you can see how tacky the glue gets. And so anyway, what we want to do is take the binder clips off the top part of our pad and leave the binder clips on the remainder. That way it just keeps it together. Take your pencil, and we want to mark on our wax paper the length, and I try to get it about the width of the pad. Mark on either side. I should have probably marked that on the line, but I didn't. But you are. And this is we're gonna use this as a guideline to where lay our glue. So when we put our pad down, we know we're not like all quonky donkey trying to get it lined up. Yeah. Okay, so grab your glue and make sure this part you wash your hands. This glue has acetone in it, and so anytime you have to use your fingers, it will pick up any dirt or anything and it will leave it on the glue. It's like, you know, when you try to take you know, paint off a surface, or, you know, take the fingernail polish off your fingernails, the acetone will also pull the oil too. So afterwards you're going to need to wash your hands and put some lotion on. So take your glue and just line some beads of glue along or in between those two lines you marked. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try and get a good even amount if you can. Like I said, it's a little stringy. And then use your finger and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. And as you can probably see, I hope you can see it anyway, it's already getting a little stringy. I put a fan in my doorway to kind of help pull out the smell, because it does smell like acetone. Okay, so now I'm going to stop for a second so I can start the other video so you can see a different viewpoint. Okay, so now I have both cameras going, and you'll be able to see a little bit of me. Hi, everybody. All right, so you want to take your pad top and lay it right in between those two marks you made. Just kind of set it there. Keep the edges pinched a little bit. Try and get it as even as possible onto the pad, the strip of glue you laid. And then just kind of pinch it a little bit, because you want some of that glue. You don't want a big, long, thick line of glue, because otherwise too much of it will get in between the pad and they will stick your pages together. But you just want enough that it sticks to the top of your pad and to the top. So then you're going to start to pull it up, and I don't know if you can see it on the video. Let me see if I can pull this up closer here. But you can see it starts to string. So what I do is just pull it about halfway and just kind of tap it down to allow the string to kind of adhere to the top, and then back down again. And it's okay if some pieces stick out a little bit, because we're going to smooth it out with the top of our finger. Again, pull it up. See, it's already starting to get tacky, and it's lifting from the wax paper onto the top of the pad, which is what you want it to do. And you should just about get all of it up, and it only takes about, I don't know, half a minute, 30 seconds, a minute. Okay, so there is what the top of the pad looks like. And then we're going to go and we're going to smooth it out with our fingers. So, okay, so now you can see, you're probably going, wait a minute, there isn't enough glue on top. That's okay. We're going to get to that. So just take your finger and just kind of smooth the top of this as much as possible to get that glue to kind of smooth out a little bit. And it's going to be stringy, and it's going to feel weird and rubbery and cementy and maybe something else, but I don't want to say. But you get the picture. And then just kind of pull the excess off. You're going to roll it in your fingers and just let it go. And just kind of pull that glue across the top with your finger. And try to see if you can connect the end pieces there. Loop it around the end. Okay, so now you can see there is some areas that are thin in glue, and that's okay. So you just take your glue again, and this time, since we already have a base already there, we can lay just a couple little strip, or one little thin strip down the center. There. That's really all you need. Woo, it's stringy glue. I'm glad they didn't have this glue in elementary school. I would have been playing around with that stuff all over the place. Anyways, so just smooth it out with your finger again. Try and get it as even as possible. And you might have to do this, you know, maybe you'll get enough glue down on the bottom that you won't have to do it. And I've done that a few times. Get it thick enough that I only have to do it once and not have to lay any extra on top. And make sure that you get it, that back piece of cardstock there gets some of that glue, because you want it to stick, because that's your backing for your pad. Let's just a little bit more. And by doing it this way, you can see just the areas you need to add a little bit of glue to. And then just keep going until you got all of it covered. Okay, so I put another layer on the top and just kind of kept smoothing it, and pinching the top so that the excess glue comes to the top. And just kind of rub my finger. And as you can see, it's fairly dry. Not quite all the way, but just keep smoothing it. And then once you get it to where you can roll some of this excess glue off and just ball it up, you can see all the little balls of glue. once you get to that point now, which I think we're just about there, take your binder clips again, and don't push it all the way to the bottom. Leaves a little gap there, and then just put all 3 back on top, or however many you used, and then just let it dry. Only takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Just set it down on the wax paper and go and wash your hands, and I'll be right back. Okay, so went and washed my hands, put a little lotion on them, and this should be completely dry now. So we're going to go ahead and take off the binder clips and do a test to make sure that we had enough glue on top. So I should be able to thumb through all of it, shake it, make sure no pages come out of it, and it's good to go. And as you can see, you know, there's some little rough bumps, and you can smooth all those out and take the time if you want. For me, I'm just going to put a book cover over it, so it really doesn't matter. I don't want it too thick on the top because I like to be able to tear the pages off. Kind of like on, I'll show you with this one. I made this one a little bit bigger. I think this one is 5 1/4 by 7 inches. And this one's just, I just have it by the computer, write a little few notes on it. But show you how easy it is to tear the piece off. So now you get a piece of notebook paper or notepad paper. So, and you know, if you do a test on it and you find that, you know, pages come out or whatever, just stick them back in there and put a little more glue on it. You can even try to take the top and maybe line just a small bead of glue in there and stick it up in there if you want. Or just put it right back here on the top and then just re-put some glue and just fiddle with it, you know, till you get it on there. And it doesn't take very long. The video is probably longer than it's going to take you to actually make the actual pad itself, because I like to chit-chat and, you know, talk through my videos, but I think they're funner that way. So that's your pad. If all you want to do is make the pads, that's great. Get to crafting. If you want to see how to make a book or a little pad cover for it, that will be in part 2, so just stay tuned and watch that part. If not, happy crafting. Bye, guys.